active in editing Edukacja Pomorska bi-monthly with very interesting texts to read. So I advertise this one to whoever is participating in this webinar. Apart from being a vice president of our IATEFL Poland section, Gosia is also Gdańsk region representative. So and being such, she keeps organizing lots of regional events, workshops, training sessions, and many other events. So if you wish that you would like to join, if you feel like joining any of these events, go to our webpage and all the information is there. I would like to stress one more thing, that last year our IATEFL annual conference took place in Gdańsk, was hosted by Gdańsk and Gosia, as I would say it, who really offered to us lots of interesting, inspirational sessions, but also entertainment program was unique. And the event that I remember most was a visit to the Shakespeare Theatre and lots of other local attractions. And of course, Gosia is interested in the teacher world. And while doing so, she works on empowering both us as teachers and our students. Last but not least, Gosia is the secretary of Future Oriented Education Association. The Polish version is Edukacja ku przyszłości. So I hope that we will be really inspired by Gosia. So over to you. Hello, hello.
Gosia, it's your turn. Gosia, over to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Just a quick question. Can you hear me? Could you please let me know in the chat box? Yes, Lucyna. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like in a silent movie a bit. Okay, I have no idea what Lucyna and Marcin have told you already. I can't hear them. So my apologies if I repeat something or contradict with them or whatever. Okay, hello everyone. I would like to welcome you from my side. Thank you for joining the webinar. I hope this hour will be helpful to you and a pleasant way to spend the evening, I hope. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. Okay, could anyone write in the chat box that the sound is okay? Lucyna, thank you. Anyone else, maybe? Okay, thanks a lot. Hello, Rob. Okay, so I hope this is the end of the technical problems for today. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay. I hope that you can see the presentation now. If the picture from the camera is on the slide, you can have a look at the bottom right corner. There should be a square and an arrow. When you click it, I should jump nicely to the right above the chat box. Okay, so I hope you can see on the slides. ICT tools for EFL teachers, and this is the topic for today. My personal favorites, as you can see, so this is the main criteria of the choice. Part one, this was added when I started preparing the presentation, and I realized that definitely far more interesting tools than I can accommodate in one webinar. So this part one with a question mark, of course. And Lucyna, don't be scared. I'm not going to have 10 parts. Okay, don't worry. I have no idea whether Lucyna introduced me a bit or not. Sorry for this technical problem. And just to justify my being here and to mention some of my professional hats that I wear usually. Thank you. Mainly I work in an in-service teacher training center in Gdańsk, and I meet a lot of teachers of various foreign languages. I prepare workshops, I observe lessons and support them in any way I can. I'm also the editor of Edukacja Pomorska magazine. It's available free online. If you are interested, have a look. One of the columns is devoted to ICT in education generally, not only in language teaching. So this is also connected with our subject a bit. And of course, IATEFL Poland. I serve as a vice president and Gdańsk region representative for this association. So this is also why I'm here. Okay, all the materials, links, etc., everything that I'm going to discuss is available for you on Padlet. So you should be able to see the link in the chat box at the top, I hope. So if you scan the QR code or enter this address, you should be able to access the materials. There's no time limit, so you can also come back to them. And we have time till 9 p.m., right, for our meeting today. Okay, before we dive into ICT tools, just a brief comment. Okay, I can see that some people have already been to the Padlet. Okay. The topic of today's webinar was set several months ago in a completely different reality, in the times when we were looking for some ways to introduce a bit of technology into classrooms. So it is going to be pretty technical, concentrating on the use of applications. However, at this moment, I'm sure you realize that it's not impressing students with technology that matter the most at the moment. I guess that we should remember about relations, about emotions that are connected with this crisis. So I guess that we should create opportunities to express the emotions, not only directly, but also through metaphors. For instance, take care of some basic needs of our students. That's why Maslow before Bloom. However, I guess that technology may be helpful. So let's have a look what we have for today. And talking about basic needs, I hope that all of you have your favorite drinks with you, maybe a pet somewhere around, that you are comfortable, relaxed, and you can enjoy this time being here with the group. The chat is going to be open throughout the whole event. However, as I need to do quite a lot of clicking, I'm sorry I won't be able to follow it probably all the time. So just treat it, please, as a way of exchanging ideas between participants simply, okay? And I will just try to have a look from time to time. Okay, I have chosen 4 tools which I would like to show you today. Some of them may be familiar to you. I hope that everyone will find something new, or if not the tool itself, maybe some new ideas for using it. Taking into consideration the current situation, this was my, let's say, list of criteria. All of those tools are very easy to use. All of them are free of charge. And I guess that you may be a bit tired with creating various accounts, am I right? So no account required for all of them. And they are useful for both contexts, face-to-face education and also online teaching. Okay, so I hope will be useful for you. I would like to suggest the following procedure. I will start with an example or several examples and demonstrate how this tool works. In the meantime, please use the chat box to type some ideas how you could see, the use of this tool in your educational context. If you know this tool or something similar, please just share your experience. Okay, did you use it? How did it work, etc. Okay, I think it would be useful for all of us here. And also, I've got some additional suggestions. Maybe I will be able to answer some of your questions if something comes up during the presentation. Okay, I hope we can follow this idea. Number one, the first tool which I'm going to discuss is the most universal, in my opinion. We'll see if you agree with me. And the second one is the quickest to prepare. Even if you have 2 minutes before the lesson, you can use it. And the third one is the most surprising, also for the teacher. We will see. And the fourth one will be not for teaching the language so much, but rather for the lesson management. I find it useful to organize things to run the lesson smoothly, simply. If time allows, I've got some extras, we'll see. Okay? Okay, ready for the first one? Okay. Could you give me a note that everything is fine? Just something in the chat box that you can hear, you can see. Okay, okay, fine, thank you. Okay, so we'll decide. This is the most universal tool, in my opinion. When I started teaching 20 and something years ago, this was one of my dreams, to have a wheel of fortune, a real one in my classroom. But of course, not possible, very big, etc. Now you can have it online. So let's have a look at the website. Okay. Let's get it here. Okay. First, I would like to show you some examples of the wheels. Okay, this is the wheel prepared for grade 6. If we spin it, we'll get the name of one of the students. Okay, of course you can spin it again. I use it when I want to pick randomly students to perform some tasks, for example, or when we want to divide into groups and first we pick just the leaders and then they form their groups. Okay, this is one idea of the use. Here is another one. As you can see, I hope. There are irregular verbs. Let's click. Okay. We have the first form, so student's task is to give us the second and the third form, as well as translate the verb. Okay, we can spin again. This time we have the verb in Polish, so translation and all of the forms. Okay, here we can see the third form, again, the translation, the first and the second. Okay, and the next one. I don't know if you have noticed, but the ones that were chosen disappear. Okay, so we are not going to repeat them. Okay, every student will get a new irregular verb. Okay, and this is another one. It is in Polish. It's been prepared according to our national curriculum, and it deals with language functions. Okay, so when we click, okay, this one says asking for explanation. Okay, so in the wheel there is the list of language functions that all of the students finishing primary school should know, and I use this wheel with every topic, every unit in the course book. Let's say that we are talking about, I don't know, doing the shopping, for instance, now, okay? And we have something like this, asking for explanation. So I ask my students, okay, So imagine that you are in a shop, you have a problem with understanding some instructions, for example, ask the shop assistant for help. Okay, we use it in this way. And one more example. Okay, this was prepared as a part of an escape room. That's why team 4 is here, and they had to, this was a revision before the exam, so they had to do an exam kind of thing. Can you see? I hope so. It's grammar transformation, in fact. Okay, so they had to transform the first sentence using the word given so that the meaning is similar. Okay, this was one of their tasks they were completing in the escape room. Okay, so I hope you have the general idea how it works. Of course, it's not the only wheel we can access, but it's very simple, I think. So let's have a look what happens if you go to the page. Okay, so this is the address I gave you. You can also find it in the Padlet. When you access the page, you will always find one wheel prepared by the providers. Okay, now you can see what to do under quarantine. And there is a button allowing you to modify the wheel. Okay, so when you click this button, something called Wheel Builder opens, but it's still the same address. And here you can edit your wheel. Okay, of course you can write here things just one by one. You can delete, you can add some extra spaces as you wish. However, there is an option that I usually use. There is this paste list button. Okay, so this is what I usually do. I prepare a Word document with the phrases, sentences, anything that I want to put onto the wheel. Here I would like to prepare a wheel for the warm-up, okay, to start the lesson with just some questions, you know, to wake up the students a bit, okay, ask them for some vocabulary. So I'm going to copy the list and use this paste list button here. I paste my list. What is important that you use enter at the end of each line, yes? So you don't just write one sentence next to another. Okay, add choices, and here you have the whole list, which can be even longer, ready there. Okay, I think it's pretty helpful tool. We can give the title. It's going to be the beginning of the lesson, so maybe just a smiley face, let's say. And I can apply wheel changes. Okay, and now this is our wheel, which is ready, and we can choose something for the students to start the lesson with. Okay. Of course, there are also some advanced options with the wheel. Okay, here under the title, you can see advanced options. The thing that I usually do is changing the time of spinning. 5 seconds is quite a lot. I usually change it to 1 second. It's definitely enough. And also here, if you click this box, then the choice will be removed after it is landed on. Okay, so if you don't want to repeat the same question, sometimes you need it, sometimes not. But if you don't want to repeat the question, tick the box, and then this fragment will disappear after you use it. Of course, it will come back when you finish, but during the spinning, it won't be there. Okay, so this is it. So I hope you can see it's pretty easy. If you want to create an account, you can do it, and you can store all of your wheels in one place, but you don't need it. I don't have an account. Every wheel has got its unique address. Okay, so you just copy the link and keep the link somewhere where you can access it. So just the link is enough to get to your wheel. I think it's pretty convenient. However, there is one thing with the links. Because everything you write in this wheel goes to the link looks like this. Okay, if you can give it in an active form, it's not that bad, but it's not the nicest link in the world. Okay, so if you have a link like this, I'm going to copy it. There are some pages where you can shorten links. Okay, Tiny is one of those websites. You just paste this terribly long link, click, cut, and you've got a lovely, nice address, which you can even type just like this. Okay. There is also another useful tool, QR codes. Of course, there are many generators. I give you the link to one of the easiest, I think, to operate. Here, you just enter the code. It's better to put the shorter one because then the code is easier to scan. Some scanners are better, some are a bit worse. So here, if you have the shorter code, it will be easier to scan it. And you just click Save, and you give it the name, and you've got the code which you can give to your students as well. Okay, so can be useful also, not only probably with We'll Decide, but especially with this. I mentioned Padlet, so just let's have a look quickly at it. I know that some of you have already visited the page. So as you can see here, you've got some general materials. I hope to add the link to the webinar recording. Afterwards, you have the presentation, maybe some additional ideas. Here you've got IATEFL website and Facebook profile, and here are all the tools. Okay, so you can just click here, for example, and go to We'll Decide. If you scroll down, you will see also the examples of the wheels I showed you. Okay. Okay, any ideas for the use of We'll Decide in your work? Have you used it for anything? Do you have any ideas how to use it in your context? Please type something in the chat, okay? If you have some suggestions for us what to do with it. Okay, so this was We'll Decide, and okay, select the students for activity. Thank you. Okay. Okay, please share some of your ideas. Feel free to do so. Here in the presentation, I just want to give you some extra ideas as well. As I said, I believe it's pretty universal. So vocabulary, you can write some adjectives, ask students for the opposites. You can give an ending, ask students to give examples of words, etc. For grammar, you could see an example with transformation, for example. Yes, for conditionals, really nice. You give the beginnings, you ask for the endings. Changing into passive voice, reported speech, etc. Language functions, yes, for dialogues, for creating some banks of phrases. Also for speaking, writing, or for projects, just choosing the topic, yes, or choosing the beginning, choosing the word that should be used in a story. Also some ideas for the culture. And as you mentioned, selecting students for an activity. All kinds of warm-ups, energizers, time fillers. If you have a few of those wheels, you can really use it in all of those situations. And the wheel is really easy to prepare, as you can see. So it can be set as a homework. As homework for students, simply. We can ask them to prepare some revision, for example, that we will use during our next classes. Okay? Okay, so thank you for your idea. Maybe you'll come up with something else as well. And I would like us to move to a garden for a change. Okay, Answer Garden. Maybe some of you are familiar with it as well. Let's have a look at, okay, maybe first one example and then we'll move to the page, okay? Your motto is plant a question, grow an answer, okay? And this is how it works. Here, I have planted not a question, in fact, but just a phrase, okay? IATEFL Poland, and I asked for some associations, something that comes to your mind when you hear it, okay? And this is what I could see, okay? So let's go to the web page. Okay, when you enter the website, this is what you see. You have the option to see the demo, which is pretty good as well if it's a new tool. And now we are going to create a garden for us. Okay, topic. Okay, maybe I will ask you where you are now. Maybe even not in the room, but in the garden, for instance. Let's see, okay? Let's use this brainstorming idea. So we'll get the word cloud out of it. The answers here should be short, okay? 20 characters, 40. Okay, I will let you have 40. We can also give a password, but I don't need it really, okay? And let's leave the lowercase. Okay, maybe let's leave it for a week. I click create. And if you look here at the top, we have a new address. This is the unique address for our answer garden. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. If you please, could you please go to this page and type your answer? It should work on mobiles as well. Let's see how it works. Okay, it's answer garden, CH, and then you've got this code. Yes, 1245400. Okay, good. Somebody try and type something. I will refresh it. Please don't forget to click submit when you finish typing, okay? Ah, thank you. IATEFL my office. Who can it be? Let me guess. Bathroom. Okay, I hope that it's just a relaxing bath now, okay? Anyone else would like to reveal where you are, okay? Let's see. Okay, in the study. Okay, study really popular. See what happens when you can see how many people answered this way. If the answer repeats exactly in the same form, of course, and then it will be bigger. Okay, so if you ask an easy question like yes, no question, for instance, yes, then you will see pretty easily how many people answer this way or that way, etc. It will be bigger. Okay, maybe to show you this, I will repeat in the study, okay, and I submitted. Okay, and it should, can you see? Okay, yes, bedroom 2 people and the others just mentioned by 1 person, okay? Okay, so I hope you got the taste. What to use it for? Please type in the chat box, okay? In what circumstances could you use it in the classroom with your students? As you can see, it can be used online. Yes, you don't need to be face-to-face with your students. You can use it during online teaching. Okay, so I will give you 1 moment for some more ideas. Okay, brainstorming, beginning of the lesson, let's say, before reading something, yes? Okay. Okay, let's give you a chance to add something more. Okay, to recap the lesson, great. What do you remember? Yes, what was the most important thing you have learned? Yes, something like this, vocabulary revision, of course. Okay, again, pretty easy. You don't need to create an account. It just works as you could see it. Okay, of course there are some you can export the results, etc., etc. There are some extra options, but I just wanted to show you the basics. Okay, okay, so thank you for visiting the garden. Synonyms. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, let me come back here. Okay, some additional ideas, some probably similar to yours. Yes, introduction of the subject you mentioned. Also, the beginnings, yes, different tasks with vocabulary, a bit more difficult with grammar because you have this limit of characters. Yes, so you can't write sentences really, and it's not very clear if you try to do so. Brainstorming, as you mentioned, yes, just getting students' opinions for discussion. If you have quite a big class, like 24, 25 students, let's say, and they write their opinions in the chat box, it's not so easy to see, yes, which one answer was the most popular, for example. This one would work a bit better, I guess. All kinds of 5-minute activities, yes, and also getting to know the group. When you have extra classes, for example, with a group that you don't know, you can simply ask for some vocabulary and you will see more or less what the level is, for example, where to start with, etc. Okay, so I hope you will be gardening a bit in the nearest future. Okay, and I promised something surprising. Does anyone know the secret door? Anyone familiar with it? It's definitely one of my favorites because it surprises the teacher. Ah, okay, rather new. Okay, so let's go to the secret door. Okay. Okay. So this is the secret door. What will happen? What will happen if we open the door? Let's see. Click at the door. Nothing there, nothing there. And we are, in a shop, Chinese shop. Let's have a look around. A lot of cats, yes. Let's see here. Okay. Maybe let's try once again. Okay. We can open the door one more time. Let's see. Takes a moment. Ah, Nice. Okay, is it a zoo? Is it somewhere in the wild? You can also go to, okay, we can move a bit, but not too much here in this place. Okay, sometimes there are more options. Probably you can see the idea. It is based on Google Maps. So you can also move to the Google map and see where this place really is. But the best thing for me is that you never know what is behind the door. You just open the door. You cannot prepare a lesson based on the picture. You don't know what is going to be there. Okay, I think it's a nice moment of surprise. You can find yourself in all kinds of places. It can be in the middle of the forest. It can be on the rail track. It can be in a restaurant. Okay, nobody knows. This is great. I think about it. So I'm a huge fan, really, and I think it's, you know, it's this element of breaking the routine. Okay, how do you use the secret door? What could it be useful for in teaching? Okay, yes, a great source of interest for students, for sure. Yes. No sound. I know that we have some problem with the sound, but I hope you mean the sound of the door. If you go to the original website yourself, there will be also some jingling kind of noise with it. Okay. Okay, so I can see some fans of this solution. Okay, so let me take the door for a moment. Okay, if I think of my experience, quite often I used it for vocabulary as a startup, okay? Not for particular subject because I can't predict it so much, but just to get some vocabulary from students, okay? For example, one group writing the nouns, another writing adjectives, one more thinking of some verbs, and then we try to make up some sentences. Okay. Also, we can always relate the picture to the topic we are discussing in some ways. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's more difficult, but believe me, it's always possible. Yes, to describe the picture, of course, with a challenge sometimes. Also, you can relate to any grammar structure. Okay, you can always ask students to imagine some sentences with a given structure connected with the picture, the situation, the place, etc. Okay. You mentioned also interest in getting students interested, but also I think it's a good inspiration for creative writing, creative speaking. They can create really fantastic dialogues or stories connected with the place. For early finishers, of course, thank you for this idea. Yes, you can also ask them to do something with this picture. Yes, again, you can use it on your mobile. You can also go to Google Maps just with one click and see where this place really is, etc. Okay. Okay, it's also a really good thing when you have internet access and you are surprised that you need to substitute for your colleague, for instance. Yes, you learned 5 minutes before the lesson and you have to do something. Believe me that I've conducted several lessons just basing, you know, just using the secret door, in fact, okay, and creating some activities using the picture, okay, or several pictures because you can re-enter the door, of course. Okay, can we add or modify the content? I'm sorry, no, we can't. This is the beauty of the tool, okay? It surprises you as a teacher as well. So no, you can't control it anyway, okay? Let's treat it as an advantage here, I would say. So it's a bit of adventure for the teacher as well, okay? Fine, we still have a few minutes, so let's have a look at the fourth tool. As I mentioned at the beginning, I find it useful for class management. Okay, so classroom screen. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, just grab it here. Okay, where are we here? Okay, classroom screen is a tool which you can use in your real face-to-face classroom when you just have some basic tools, in fact, yes, when you can show what you've got on your computer. And also in similar way, you can use it during online classes, okay? So you can also present it on your screen and share it with students, okay? Your students will not be able to modify it. That is something rather meant for the teacher. However, there is one option for the students. I will show it to you. Classroom screen is a tool which is developing all the time, really, so you can find new functions there. Let's move to this new classroom screen. Okay, there is this classic version, but I guess we can have a look at the new one. Okay, when you go to the page, you will have to wait for a moment, as you can see. But now, okay, this is it. So this is the screen which you can prepare for your class. Okay, we can change the background. Let's say that I'm going to do some storytelling today, okay? So I can choose from the photos or animations that they provide. I can also upload my own picture, but I can see something nice for storytelling. There's this campfire here, okay? I think this will be a nice thing to have in the background when we tell stories. And then you have all sorts of widgets which you can add. You can open them, you can close them, okay? For instance, if you want to have a random name picker, you can type or just copy and paste names of your students here, okay, in a similar way as we did in this We'll Decide, and then you will be able to choose it during the classes, okay? You can make it smaller, bigger, you can move it, okay? So you can just prepare it in the way you want to have it during the classes, okay? I'm going to close it so that I can show you some other things. Okay, for our stories, we will need some dice at some point. Let's say 2 dice. Okay. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to keep. We are going to use it during our classes. Okay. There are also other things. For example, you can draw. You can prepare a piece of whiteboard, let's say, where you can do some drawing. So, for example, if you want to play a game with your students, yes, you can choose a color and you can draw something here, okay? A similar tool for the text. So you can also have a place where your students can type something, okay? Sometimes it's easier for students to type than to write with not chalk probably, but with a marker nowadays. Yes, but you can also use it here. You also have some work symbols. For example, I can show it to remind my students that now we are working individually, yes? Or it's time for working in groups. Okay, so I can also use this symbol. I've got traffic lights. If you use it to communicate something with your students, sometimes for formative assessment, sometimes you can just tell them that, I don't know, you're going to show the amber light when the time is going to finish, so for example, yes, so you can use those symbols. There's also a nice timer, so you can prepare it and use it during the classes, and there's also a stopwatch, okay, a calendar if you want to discuss some dates with your students, or a clock, etc. All of those things can be moved. You can open them, close them, etc. Okay. I guess that probably you have other websites that you use for timers, for stopwatches, etc. Yes. What I like about Classroom screen is that you have everything in one place. So you can just prepare everything before the lesson or just during the lesson. Yes, if it turns out that you need a stopwatch for something, you can just open it and use it. Yes. So as I mentioned before, not for teaching so much, but for the lesson management. Yes. Somebody said that this is cool. I guess it can be useful for sure. Okay, so I hope you have some ideas how to use it. As I mentioned here, just setting the scene. Yes, you can prepare the subject, the atmosphere. There is also a widget with QR code, so you can also prepare it when you want your students to move somewhere during the classes, for instance, or just have a picture that you want to discuss at some point, etc. As I said, many tools in one location, and it is still changing. So some functions which are going to be introduced very soon, the possibility to save your screen. So then you can prepare something, you know, that you want to repeat. Now you have to just create it before each classes individually. Okay, it's pretty fast, but you have to do it. Okay, so you'll be able to save it, and also some more preferences, some new widgets will be added. So I think it's worth visiting in a few weeks as well. Okay. Okay. We don't have too much time. I have 3 extras, but probably we'll have to choose something. Okay, and then preferences on your side. We won't have time for everything. Okay. Okay, play phrase me. Okay, we have somebody who loves Bombay TV. Okay, nobody for break your own news. Okay, so let's have a look. Play phrase. Okay, I knew this will happen. Okay, I prepared play phrase me, and I checked it a few days ago, and see what happens. Okay, this is what we can see today. I'm sorry. Okay, temporarily stop the web application. I'm sorry, but you have the address. Please visit the place once again, okay, in some time. It will be helpful to find some fragments of movies or TED Talks or talk shows with certain grammar phrases, okay, to show students the language in context. It's great. Okay, so let's leave it as it is. Okay, somebody asked for break your own news, but first was the Bombay TV. Okay, so let's have a look at Bombay TV. Okay, we need Flash for this one. I'm sorry, technical things. Okay. If you go to the website, you will find Bombay TV, but in fact, some more channels. Here you've got 2 more, but Bombay TV is the richest one. What you find here is the collection of short films, not too artistic maybe, but that's not the point. What's most important, you have a chance to write your own subtitles. Okay, you can save, you can send this film. So what students get is a short bit of a movie. Okay, for example, something like this. And you can write your own subtitles here. Okay, and they will be played with the film. Okay. Yes, the language will not help your students for sure. Yes, but this is it. They can create whatever they wish. One person wrote that he or she knows this tool. Okay, could you share some ideas what you did with it, with your students, and whether they liked it or not? Generally, my experience shows that students love it. And when you ask them to prepare one movie, they will send you 5 of them. Okay, so they can choose a film, or you can choose the same film. It's also it's also a good idea to choose the same film for several groups or pairs of students to see how different the ideas can be for one little piece of the movie. And here you can also change the language of the instruction. Okay, so here you can have everything in English, for instance, yes, or other language if you teach something else. Okay, so great resource, thank you. I think you can do a lot of creative things with it. Okay, 4 minutes. So let's break our own news then. Okay, this is the page. Okay. This should look familiar. Yes, like a screenshot from the news. The beauty of it is that you can prepare within a few clicks ready your own breaking news story. Okay, so you can leave this black background, or you can upload an image. Okay, so it's not this one here. Okay, your image here. Let's see what we have. Okay, I should have something here. Okay. We got some animals today, so a nice elephant family. Okay. What is the headline? What should appear here? And ideas. And ideas. Okay. Okay, so I won't be very creative at this time of the day, probably. Okay, let's have something like this, let's say. Okay, we can also add something here. Okay, and we have a great picture with some inscriptions ready. You can download it, just save it as a picture. You can post it to Facebook. I think it could be a great idea just to promote an event, for instance, something that you are going to do in your school with your class, etc. Pretty easy, as you can see, a few clicks, and you've got something like this ready. Okay, somebody knows it from the conference. Okay, and ideas for the use. Anything else that comes to your mind, how to use it with your students? Okay, I mentioned some promotion. Okay, you can use it for storytelling, for sure. to inspire the story, yes? Or maybe something for the beginning, for the middle part, or for the ending of the story, for sure. Critical thinking, okay, how to tell fake news. Okay, so now you create the news and then, yes. But of course, you can use it as a starting point for the discussion, for sure, yes, how to check it, etc. Okay. You can think of various topics that could be introduced in this way, or vocabulary, grammar structures, passive voice, very natural context to show how it is used. Then you can start discussing those bits that should be there in the full sentence but are not in the news, in the headlines, etc. Okay, so I hope you will find it inspiring and helpful. Okay, and as I mentioned before, in the Padlet you have all of the links, so you can have a look at Break Your Own News, Bombay TV, and please come back to Play Phrase Me. It's a really useful tool. I hope you will be able to access it in a few days. Yes, nowadays you know that we have problems with overloading. Okay, so more or less getting to the end of our meeting. Okay, just summing up, and my question to you, okay? Do you find any of those tools useful? Are you going to use any of them with your students? If so, could you please put the number or the numbers in the chat box, okay? If you find anything useful for you, okay? And another question is, would you be interested in part 2 in a few more tools? Okay, would be great to hear from you in the chat box. Okay, I'm just having a look, so please. Okay, we'll decide secret door. Okay. So please try them out. I hope you could see that they are really easy to operate, no accounts, no other extra things that you have to remember about. Okay, so thank you so much. Okay, I'll have a look at the chat in a moment in more details. Okay, so please use some new tools with your students, some ICT tools, but also remember that nowadays we should especially take care of their other basic needs, emotional needs, etc. So muscle before bloom, I would say, at this point. So thank you for your participation in the webinar. Thank you for being active in the chat box. I know it's pretty late in the evening. So take good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you at some other events. Okay, thank you so much.
You can't hear me. I'm adding the voice, and I would like to thank you on behalf of all the participants. Since I have visual access to your stage, then I would like to thank you on our behalf. And I think I would like to refer to what you said, your question, if we would be interested in having part 2. I would be the first one to participate in the continuation of these really inspirational ideas that you have given the whole bunch of to us during this webinar. So thank you so much. So now I'm excluding myself visually. If you would like to add something, go ahead. I see that there are very, very nice comments in the chat box. Everybody has been very active, so very nice webinar.